when I first saw Despicable Me back in 2010, that's one of the best anime movies I've ever seen. And then when I saw trailers for the second movie, Despicable Me 2, and that a lot of the characters were coming back to reprise their roles, such as Steve Carell, Miranda Cosgrove, Russell Brand, and among some others. I definitely had great expectations for this movie, and going into the movie, I can definitely say this movie is a total laugh-out-loud, action-packed blast, and definitely have me doing great the whole time. But let's get more depth into this movie, starting out with the storyline and the premise. The premise I thought was pretty great, considering the fact that Gru is no longer a supervillain. He has a family and he's trying to care for the family. But of course he hasn't been able to make money for them. But of course he gets a job. But of course he gets a job to spy on people, spy and save the world instead of take over the world, which he did in the first film. And I thought the storyline went pretty well, obviously. And the movie definitely progressed well. It didn't take itself too seriously, and a lot of the jokes in it, a lot of the stuff that's supposed to make you laugh, actually did make me laugh. And because I was just laughing in hysterics, and I was like, "Am I nuts? Is the entire theater on laughing gas, and I picked up traces of it? I don't know. But all I know is that I was laughing. I had a great time with that, and I can't deny that." Now let's move on to the acting. The acting, however, came off pretty surprisingly well. Steve Carell, he played Gru in the first film, and he definitely didn't disappoint, especially with that funny foreign accent, apparently at the big deal! Like that. And he definitely came out for that well in the second one. Especially like the minions. The minions are the highlight of this film. I mean, the minions are just the funniest part. They're even funnier than Gru himself, because they can dress in different outfits as like a maid, a construction worker, the Indian. There's something I would like to point about them, but I'll get into that in spoilers, which I'll be doing later on in this review. And of course, the minions just came out pretty well. Very surprising, and they're definitely great, especially when they're making jam later on in this film, and that is not a spoiler. Kristen Wiig definitely did great as Gru's love interest. As you've seen from the trailers, he definitely has a love interest, and I did not think she did well as a love interest, but I think she played it pretty well, considering the fact that she did have a role in the first movie that was different from this movie. But either way, she played. I actually like the character in this one better, because it seemed more similar to a character, and she definitely used her own voice for this one, and that is definitely pretty good, obviously. Now, like I said, this movie is really great, especially Russell Brand definitely came off pretty well as Dr. Nefario. He returned to reprise his role for that, and he did great as well. Miranda Cosgrove did good as well as Margot, and Miranda Cosgrove actually gets a love interest in this as well. But Moises Arias, who plays that guy, he definitely knows how to do it, because Moises Arias has definitely played that kind of character in his early days on the Disney Channel. I've seen him on Tana. He did that a few times, and that is definitely something very great. And if you didn't recognize Moises Arias, that's who he plays. But anyway, this movie was definitely entertaining. It had great laughs, great action. Great action, great laughs. The plotline was great. The story was great. The characters were well drawn and very well developed. So overall, this movie was great. Now I'm going into some spoilers. So if you have seen the movie, you may see them. If you have not, stop this video, go see the movie, or leave the room. And when you have seen the movie or don't care about seeing the movie, then you may watch. I'll wait for you. Icon? Good. All right, let's continue. Okay, here are the spoilers. The first spoiler I'm going to start off with, which is my favorite spoiler, is in the beginning of the movie when the minions are just as medieval characters for Agnes's birthday party, especially when they play these medieval characters. They have a wooden sword. They have real stuff. Like one of them kind of screws up, and the others just start pounding the juice out of him with a mace, a battle axe, and suit of armor, especially his own sword. That was really funny. Especially when they're running amok everywhere. That is definitely something that me and the whole theater were in hysterics. It's like we've been. It was like our drinks have been spiked with laughing gas. We were all in hysterics, and that was definitely the most funniest part of the movie. Another thing I really liked in the movie is during the end, during like the song sequence, the song sequence when two of the mains came outside dancing to YMCA dressed as the village people. It was like the Indian, the construction worker, and the biker. The biker. Was it the biker? I can't be sure. Either way, I just was like hysterics because I know the minions love to dress up as different things throughout the movie. This movie, which they also did in the first movie, which I will not go into. But either way, that was definitely made the movie very enjoyable. And a lot of the action, actually, I thought, and a lot of the action in this was definitely great, and especially like the flashback sequence in like Gru's childhood when he explains when we see like why he's never wanted a date, why he's never had or even wanted a date in his life. I definitely thought that was definitely very endearing. So now I'm done with the spoilers. I would say this movie had great action, great laughs. Like we laughed when we were supposed to, and that was definitely great. Overall, this movie is a great blast, and if I enjoyed it, you will definitely enjoy it, my friend. I guarantee you that. Overall, I'll say this movie is definitely a great time. Definitely a great time. Bring a party. Bring a party. So let me know in the comments below exactly what you liked about the movie. Such as the storyline, the acting, basically anything you have. I would love to hear from you. Please like this review. Please like this review and keep posting reviews. And I will definitely try to respond to them if I can. Overall, this movie is great. Please below. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope it helps you. I am Aaron, and I will see you next time on M&M Weekly.